Hello! Today I want to share with you the similarities and differences between the law of attraction and Buddhism. As a follower of Buddhism for the past decade or so, when I found my first book, let me grab it. Buddha in your backpack. After finding this book, I learned a lot about how to navigate suffering in life, because that's mainly what the Buddha taught, is that there's suffering in life and that is inherent. His first sermon after enlightenment was about the Four Noble Truths. The first noble truth being dukkha, or suffering, and the second noble truth being the arising of suffering, or where does that suffering come from. Then nirodha, or the cessation of suffering. So the suffering is often referred to as like a flame. And nirodha, or nirvana, is like the cessation of that flame, the blowing out of that flame. That flame can often be referred to as desire. So this is why I'm bringing the law of attraction and Buddhism together, because for my own benefit and to share with you, of course, is that they do have some comparing and contrasting thoughts and words. So after this cessation of dukkha, or suffering, is magga, or the path. And the path for Buddhism, there's a lot of different ways. It's individual to you in following your path. So how does this relate to the law of attraction? Well, the Buddha said, what you think you become. And that is very synonymous to the law of attraction, because the book that I'm going to stick to for that is Jerry and Esther Hicks' book, The Law of Attraction. And one thing that they said specifically in there, and I'll quote, you get the essence of what you are thinking about, whether it is something you want or do not want. So in their teachings, they're saying the universe doesn't care whether you say I like, or I don't. Either way, there's a strong vibration. We know everything's vibration. We've learned that through science, and down to the smallest thing is all vibration. How cool. So we can choose through our thoughts what we are vibrationally calling in, what we are summoning. Now, this is super hard to be real with yourself with, especially when you realize I've summoned some bad shit into my life. I have caused suffering to others, and none of that feels good. So what's that feeling? Well, in the law of attraction, they talk about emotional guidance system. And I'll quote them again in what they say. When you're giving thought to something you want, you feel a positive emotion. When you're giving thought in the direction of what you don't want, you're feeling a negative emotion. So here's a larger contrast between Buddhism and the law of attraction. The law of attraction encourages that rather than monitoring your thoughts, you monitor and pay attention to your feeling and how you feel. And they suggest that this is a link to the inner being, or what yogic terms would call the higher self. Now, this is a really big contrast from Buddhism, because in Buddhism, he teaches anatta, no self. And the reason for teaching this is that, in short, suffering comes from the illusion or self, or the ignorance of who we really are. So the way I like to think about this is that the ego, likes to play small, and likes the small self, and likes, I like this, I don't like that. And you're still, there's this smallness, but there's this connection in no self, where you're really open to the universe and understand that the same intelligence that pulled all this chaos into order and allows all this diversity to continue to create more, and all the beauty in life, all of this is the same intelligence that is within me. And yet it is not mine. So that I, that ego, that self, is holding. And in Buddhism, we talk about surrender a lot and letting go. And in the law of attraction now, comparison here is that in the law of attraction, they also talk about this, what they call the art of allowing. Now, one thing I don't like about the wording in the law of attraction is that sometimes it talks about expecting things. Like, I want this, I want this, I want this, but there'll be some small vibrational thought over here that's like, I don't deserve it. I don't really deserve it. I don't think I'm old enough or smart enough or wise enough or enough. And this small vibration over here is not allowing it. So you have to, what they say is expect it. Just release, let go. So very back to Buddhism, let go, releasing all that hindering thoughts and expecting it. Now, I don't like the expecting words because something that Guru Satchidananda said is that appointments make for disappointment. So kind of true, right? If we expect things sometimes to be a certain way and they're not, and then we get more negative emotional feedback. And so how to really allow things. And I really like how this comes to ourselves and to others. So something from the law of attraction again is, I have not come forth in this physical world to get everyone to follow the truth that I think is the truth. I have not come forth to encourage conformity and sameness. For I am wise enough to understand that in sameness, in conformity, there is no diversity. And paraphrasing the rest of this, without diversity, there's no creativity, there's no expansion, there's no sharing, there's no divulging in different perspectives. It loses its interest, And we are reflections of the divine, experiencing ourselves through each other. So, in Buddhism, we really encourage to not criticize or judge another, because it would create suffering, not only to them, but to ourselves. Because in comparison, that is only violence to the self. The messes that we are in are not because of anyone else. We are here because we chose to be. Acceptance is a key on the path of alleviating suffering. Acceptance of oneself allows for acceptance of others. So, add all of that, how can I apply this to my day-to-day life? Well, the law of attraction recommends segment intending. And this comes before the art of allowing, so I'm in the book. But this is the way I would go about it. Segment intending is a tool that's very useful for claiming what it is you want in every moment. So, when I go to work, I intend to be helpful, joyful, and patient. Patient with my customers, joyful, and bringing that nice vibration, that high vibration of joy, and helpful because I'm at work and I'm there to serve. When I drive, I have different intentions. I tend to be alert, similar to work, but alert in a different sense. I'm driving a potentially weapon, so I need to be alert. I also need to be safe. I need to wear my seatbelt in case something unexpected happens. And I need to be forgiving, because road rage is only violence towards my own well-being. And that vibration is not what I want to call in. So knowing that my vibrational alignment with my highest good is not to feel bad. It's to keep that positive feeling. Not to say that there isn't good and bad in life. And in Buddhism, it's a hard path, because the path is very real. Life has suffering. That is the first noble truth. Now that can kind of be a jab. Like, life is suffering. But how to navigate this suffering from day to day? So Buddhism doesn't necessarily have steps, but it does, however, offer encouragement towards a enlightened perspective. And this enlightened perspective is one of peace and harmony with all that is. So it is completely in alignment with the art of allowing others to be different and accepting yourself as you are. So I hope this video was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, please leave some comments or find me online. I have a Facebook, and like all of you probably do. So thank you. Namaste.